Power outages are no longer rare inconveniences. They're becoming a regular part of life. Whether it's a hurricane, wildfire, crumbling infrastructure, or some other crisis, the lights go out and chaos follows. When disaster strikes, people rush to stores in a frenzy, grabbing anything they can to prepare. But here's the harsh truth. Stores aren't your friend in these moments. They're businesses, and when panic buying kicks in, they play by their own rules. Critical items vanish from shelves faster than you can say emergency, and it's not always because they're sold out. Sometimes stores deliberately hide or limit access to essential goods. Why? To prevent hoarding, to manage supply chain issues, or simply to prioritize what they think you should buy. Meanwhile, you're left scrambling, often overlooking the very items that could make or break your survival during a prolonged outage. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. When the power goes out, you can't rely on stores to have your back. You need to know what to grab before the rush begins. This article will expose the top 10 emergency items that stores will either hide, limit, or run out of when disaster looms. These are the essentials you need to secure now while you still can, because when the shelves are empty and the lights are out, it's too late to realize you're unprepared. 1. Hidden lifelines, portable power banks, and solar chargers. When the power goes out, your phone becomes more than just a communication tool. It's your lifeline. It keeps you connected to emergency updates, helps you stay in touch with loved ones, and even doubles as a survival tool with its flashlight, weather apps, and navigation capabilities. But here's the problem. Without power, your phone is just a useless brick the moment its battery dies. That's why portable power banks and solar chargers are absolute essentials during a power outage. They're not just convenient, they're life-saving tools that keep you informed and safe when you need it most. Here's the thing, though. These lifesavers often disappear from store shelves faster than you can blink when an outage is on the horizon. Why? It's simple. Demand skyrockets the moment people realize a storm or blackout is imminent. Everyone suddenly scrambles to find a way to keep their devices charged, and stores quickly run out of stock. Some retailers even intentionally limit availability to prevent hoarding. You might find power banks hidden behind counters, purchase quantities restricted to one per customer, or more expensive alternatives pushed to the forefront. And if you're banking on grabbing one last minute, think again. By the time you get to the store, those shelves will likely be empty, leaving you at a tough spot. The solution is simple. Don't wait for the next storm, power outage, or disaster warning to act. Invest in a high-capacity power bank, or better yet, a solar charger today. Solar chargers are especially valuable because they don't rely on the grid at all. They allow you to harness the power of the sun to keep your devices running, no matter how long the blackout lasts. Look for one with enough capacity to charge multiple devices or even power small gadgets like flashlights or radios. And don't skimp on quality. Reliable brands with durable designs are worth every penny. When the lights go out and your phone is still at 100%, you'll be grateful you planned ahead. The overlooked essentials: water, purification tablets, and filters. When most people think of emergency water supplies, they imagine cases of bottled water stacked in their garage or pantry. It's the go-to solution for staying hydrated during a crisis. But here's the catch. Bottled water runs out, and fast. Once it's gone, you're left with whatever water you can find, whether it's tap water, rainwater, or even questionable sources like ponds or streams. That's why water purification tablets and portable filters are absolute game changers in an emergency situation. These small but powerful tools can mean the difference between staying hydrated and falling sick from contaminated water. So why don't more people stock up on them? Because during a crisis, everyone tends to panic buy cases of bottled water instead. It's a classic mistake, short-term thinking that prioritizes bulk over practicality. Bottled water is heavy, bulky, and finite. On the other hand, purification tablets and portable filters are compact, lightweight, and capable of treating gallons of water. They can provide clean drinking water for days, weeks, or even months, making them a far more sustainable solution. However, there's a catch. Stores often don't make these items easy to find. Water purification tablets might be stocked in obscure sections alongside camping gear, or they might be sold out quickly because retailers don't anticipate the sudden demand during emergencies. Some stores even restrict quantities, leaving you scrambling to find what you need. Don't make the mistake of overlooking these life-saving tools. A small pack of purification tablets can treat dozens of gallons of water, and portable filters can turn even the dirtiest water source into drinkable water. Look for options like straw-style filters or pump systems that are easy to use, carry, and maintain. If you're serious about emergency preparedness, don't wait until the next outage or disaster to buy these items. By then, it'll be too late and you may find yourself boiling water over a campfire, if you're lucky enough to have the means to do even that. Invest in these affordable and practical tools now and be prepared for any situation, whether it's a temporary power outage or a longer-term emergency. Having the ability to purify water is a non-negotiable necessity. When you're facing a crisis and staying hydrated with clean, safe water, you'll be glad you planned ahead. 3. Fuel for survival. Non-perishable, high-calorie foods. When the power goes out, your fridge and freezer quickly become ticking time bombs. Within hours, perishable foods begin to spoil, leaving you with nothing but a smelly mess and a significantly reduced food supply. That's why stocking up on non-perishable, high-calorie foods is essential during any prolonged power outage or emergency situation. These are the items that will sustain you and your family when cooking isn't an option, grocery stores are closed, or shelves have been cleaned out by panic buyers. Think energy bars, canned goods, peanut butter, freeze-dried meals, dried fruit, nuts, and even powdered milk. These foods are compact, long-lasting, and packed with the calories and nutrients you need to stay energized and healthy. High-calorie options are especially important because emergencies often require more physical exertion, whether it's clearing debris, managing supplies, or staying warm. But here's the catch. These types of foods are also among the first items to disappear from store shelves in a crisis. Why? Because they're convenient, easy to store, and simple to use, making them a top priority for anyone preparing for an emergency. And just like with other critical supplies, stores often limit stock or hide these items to prevent hoarding. Retailers may move them to less obvious sections of the store or restrict how many you can buy at once. The key to staying ahead of the game is preparation. Don't wait until disaster strikes to scramble for a few cans of soup and a box of protein bars. Build a stash of non-perishable foods well in advance. Rotate through your stash regularly to ensure freshness and aim for variety. Eating the same thing every day can get tiresome fast, even in an emergency. So stock up on a mix of savory and sweet options. Look for foods that are easy to prepare, require minimal water or none at all, and provide a good balance of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And don't forget to account for any dietary restrictions or allergies in your household. Having a well-thought-out stash of non-perishable, high-calorie foods will not only keep everyone fed, but also reduce stress when times are tough. When the power's out, the stores are empty, and cooking is out of the question, you'll be glad you took the time to plan ahead. 4. The Lifesaver you'll regret forgetting. Battery-powered or hand-crank radios. When the power goes out, your access to critical information often disappears too. No Wi-Fi, no TV, and once your phone's battery dies, no way to call for help or check for updates. That's why having a battery-powered or hand-crank radio is absolutely essential in any emergency kit. These devices serve as your direct line to weather updates, emergency alerts, and vital instructions during a crisis, helping you stay informed and make critical decisions when it matters most. While they may not seem like a big deal during normal times, these radios become life-saving tools in an emergency. They allow you to hear warnings about incoming storms, evacuation orders, or details about relief efforts, information that could mean the difference between safety and danger. So why are they so hard to find when you need them most? For starters, most stores don't stock large supplies of emergency radios because they're not high-demand items during everyday life. Retailers often prioritize stocking trendy gadgets or everyday necessities instead. But when a storm is predicted or an outage occurs, these radios fly off the shelves. Some stores even hide them, moving them to obscure sections, or limiting how many customers can purchase to prevent hoarding. Don't wait until the last minute to grab one of these essential devices. A hand-crank radio in particular is a must-have because it doesn't rely on batteries, which are another item that vanishes quickly during emergencies. Hand-crank models generate power manually and often come with additional features like built-in flashlights, USB charging ports, or even solar panels for added versatility. When choosing a radio, don't skimp on quality. In an emergency, you can't afford to rely on a cheap knockoff or untested product. Look for reliable brands with positive reviews and durable designs. Some models even come with NOAA weather alerts pre-programmed, ensuring you receive real-time, location-specific updates. It's also a good idea to familiarize yourself with how your radio works before you actually need it. Practice tuning it, using the hand crank, and testing any additional features it offers. When the power is out and you're desperate for information, you'll be relieved that you invested in a dependable device. A good emergency radio doesn't just provide updates, it offers peace of mind in the most uncertain times. 5. The first to vanish, LED lanterns and flashlights. When the power goes out, darkness quickly becomes both overwhelming and dangerous. That's why LED lanterns and flashlights are the very first items people reach for in a blackout. These light sources are reliable, portable, and absolutely essential for staying safe, whether it's navigating your home, locating supplies, or even signaling for help in an emergency. Their convenience and effectiveness make them a no-brainer in any power outage scenario. But here's the problem. They fly off the shelves in an instant. Why? Because everyone knows they need a dependable light source during a blackout. And flashlights or lanterns are the obvious choice. Retailers often stock limited quantities, and when panic buying sets in, they're gone in no time. To make matters worse, some stores even resort to hiding their inventory. This could mean moving stock to less obvious locations, keeping them behind counters, or even limiting how many customers can buy to prevent hoarding. If you think candles could be a backup option, think again. While they may seem like a traditional solution, candles pose significant risks. In chaotic or emergency situations, they can easily become a fire hazard. On top of that, they don't provide nearly as much light, especially for tasks like moving around your home or searching for critical supplies. What's the solution? Be proactive and stock up on reliable LED lanterns and flashlights before the next outage strikes. Look for models that are durable, water-resistant, and feature long battery life. Bonus points if they have multiple brightness settings or emergency strobe functions. To ensure you're prepared, stash these light sources in easily accessible locations throughout your home. Think bedside tables, kitchen drawers, or emergency supply kits. When the lights go out, you don't want to waste precious time fumbling around in the dark. With the right preparation, you'll have the tools you need to handle any blackout with confidence. 6. The Silent Hero Extra Batteries, all sizes. What good is a flashlight, lantern, radio, or any other battery-powered device if you don't have the batteries to keep them running? Extra batteries are the unsung heroes of any emergency kit, powering everything from your light sources to critical communication devices. Yet, despite their importance, batteries are one of the first items to disappear from store shelves when disaster strikes. Why is that? Because in the rush of an emergency, everyone suddenly realizes they need batteries, and stores can't keep up with the surge in demand. To prevent hoarding, retailers often impose purchasing limits, leaving many people without what they need. On top of that, some stores use sneaky tactics like hiding their battery stock, moving it to less obvious sections, or keeping it behind the counter. The result? You're left scrambling, and without power for your essential devices, you're left vulnerable in the dark. Don't let this happen to you. Start building your battery stash now. Focus on the sizes your devices use most. For example, AA or AAA batteries for flashlights, radios, and other small electronics. But don't overlook the less common sizes like C or D batteries, as you never know which devices you might need in an emergency. For added preparedness, consider investing in rechargeable batteries and a solar-powered charger to keep them going during extended outages. When stocking up, don't stop at just 1 or 2 packs. Build a supply that can last through several days or even weeks of outages. Store your batteries in a cool, dry place to extend their shelf life, and check them periodically to ensure they're still in good condition. By taking these steps, you'll be ready for anything, whether it's a brief power outage or an extended emergency situation. When the lights go out and your flashlight is still shining bright, or your radio is keeping you connected to important updates, you'll be glad you planned ahead. Batteries may not seem glamorous, but they're the key to staying safe, informed, and prepared no matter what challenges come your way. 7. The forgotten Lifesaver, first aid kits and medical supplies. When the power goes out, so does your easy access to medical help. Hospitals and clinics may be overwhelmed, and emergency response times can stretch into hours or worse, days. A simple injury or illness can quickly escalate into a serious situation if you're unprepared. That's why having a well-stocked first aid kit and essential medical supplies is non-negotiable. These items can literally mean the difference between a minor inconvenience and a life-threatening emergency. So why do so many people overlook them? It often comes down to the "it won't happen to me" mindset. People assume emergencies are rare, or they prioritize immediate needs like flashlights, batteries, and bottled water. But what happens if someone gets cut, burned, or sick during an outage? Even basic injuries require prompt attention, and waiting hours or days for medical help simply isn't an option. Even if you do think ahead, finding a decent first aid kit right before a disaster can be a challenge. Stores often stock limited quantities, and first aid kits are one of the first items to disappear during a rush. To make matters worse, some retailers hide them by moving them to obscure sections or keeping them behind counters to prevent hoarding. By the time you realize you need one, it might already be too late. Here's the harsh truth. You can't afford to skip this step. A basic first aid kit with Band-Aids and antiseptic wipes isn't enough. You need a comprehensive kit that includes pain relievers, antihistamines, gauze, medical tape, antiseptic cream, and a thermometer. Think about the specific needs of your household as well. If someone takes prescription medications, make sure you have extra on hand. For those with chronic conditions like diabetes, stock up on essentials such as insulin or testing strips. Don't forget about tools like tweezers for splinters, scissors for cutting gauze, and gloves to protect yourself during wound care. These small items are often overlooked but can be crucial during an emergency. Consider adding a first aid manual or guidebook to your kit as well. Having instructions on hand can be incredibly helpful during stressful situations. Preparation is key. Build a comprehensive first aid kit now and make sure it's stored in an easily accessible location, such as a hall closet or a centralized drawer. When the power's out and medical help is hours away, you'll be grateful you took the time to prepare. By acting now, you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting your family and ensuring you have the tools you need to handle unexpected emergencies with confidence. 8. The hidden heat source, propane or butane stoves and fuel. When the power goes out, your electric stove quickly becomes a useless hunk of metal. Cooking becomes a challenge, and unless you're lucky enough to have a gas stove, you'll find yourself without a way to prepare meals or even boil water. This is where propane or butane stoves come in. These portable cooking devices are an absolute game changer during outages, giving you the ability to prepare hot meals and sanitize water when you need it most. But here's the issue. These stoves are hard to find when you really need them. Why? Because they're not everyday items, so most stores don't prioritize stocking large quantities. And when a storm, blackout, or other disasters on the horizon, propane and butane stoves are some of the first items to sell out. Fuel canisters disappear just as quickly, leaving many people scrambling. Adding to the frustration, stores often hide these stoves in their fuel. They may place them in less obvious sections like camping gear or outdoor equipment aisles, and they sometimes limit the number of units you can buy to prevent hoarding. This can leave unprepared shoppers empty-handed at a time when they need these items the most. Don't let this happen to you. The time to prepare is before the next outage, not during it. Invest in a propane or butane stove now and spend time researching models to find one that suits your needs. Look for compact, easy-to-use designs with safety features, like automatic shutoff valves to reduce the risk of accidents. Fuel is just as important as the stove itself. Stock up on enough propane or butane canisters to last several days and store them safely in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Check the fuel periodically to ensure it's still in good condition and hasn't expired. Beyond cooking meals, these stoves can also be used to boil water for drinking, which is crucial during emergencies when access to clean water might be limited. They can even help with sanitizing utensils or medical tools if needed. When the lights go out and your neighbors are stuck eating cold canned soup, you'll be enjoying a hot, comforting meal thanks to your foresight. Whether it's a blackout caused by a storm, a natural disaster, or a grid failure, having the ability to cook can dramatically improve your comfort and morale during tough times. Take action now and you'll be ready to face the unexpected with confidence and a full belly. 9. The overlooked warmth. Warm blankets and emergency sleeping bags. When the power goes out in the dead of winter, staying warm isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Without heating, indoor temperatures can drop alarmingly fast, putting you and your family at risk of hypothermia. Cold weather can be unforgiving, especially during prolonged outages when restoring power might take days or even weeks in extreme cases. That's why warm blankets and emergency sleeping bags are so critical. These aren't just cozy extras. They're life-saving essentials for maintaining your body temperature and preventing serious health risks. So why do people often overlook these items? It's simple. Most focus on larger, more obvious solutions like space heaters or generators. While these devices offer an immediate sense of security, they come with limitations. Space heaters and generators require fuel or electricity, and both can be in short supply or even completely unavailable during widespread outages. Supply lines may be disrupted, fuel reserves might dry up quickly, and electricity-dependent devices are rendered useless if the outage drags on. In contrast, warm blankets and emergency sleeping bags don't rely on any external power source. They use your own body heat to work. Once you're wrapped up, the insulation traps your body heat efficiently, keeping you warm even in freezing conditions. When panic buying sets in before a snowstorm or cold snap, these life-saving items are often overlooked until it's far too late. Many people prioritize items like food, flashlights, or heating devices, not realizing how essential simple things like blankets and sleeping bags can be. And let's not forget the challenges of availability in stores. Retailers don't always make these items easy to find. They might be tucked away in obscure sections of the store, available in limited quantities, or even overshadowed by the promotion of more expensive heating solutions. Some stores actively push high-ticket items like space heaters, prioritizing them over affordable, effective solutions like thermal blankets or Mylar sleeping bags. The best way to avoid being caught unprepared is to plan ahead. Be proactive by investing in high-quality blankets and emergency sleeping bags now before the next cold weather emergency strikes. Look for options specifically designed for extreme conditions. Thermal blankets, for example, are lightweight and compact, but provide excellent insulation, while Mylar sleeping bags are incredibly effective at retaining body heat and can fit almost anywhere when not in use. These items are not only practical but also cost-suitable, especially when compared to expensive heating gadgets that may fail you when you need them most. Make sure you have enough for everyone in your household and store them in an easily accessible location. Consider keeping them in multiple spots, perhaps one set in your home's main living area and another in your vehicle or emergency kit, just in case you're not home when disaster strikes. It's also a good idea to include these items in your emergency prep routines, along with other essentials like flashlights, batteries, and non-perishable food. When the power's out, the wind is howling, and the temperature's dropping fast, you'll be glad you thought ahead. Warm blankets and emergency sleeping bags might seem like simple items, but in a crisis, they can make all the difference between discomfort and safety, or even between life and death. Don't wait until the next winter storm or unexpected outage. Act now to ensure you and your loved ones are prepared for whatever cold weather challenges come your way. 10. The Unsung Heroes, duct tape and plastic sheeting. Duct tape and plastic sheeting might not be the first things that come to mind when you think of power outages, but they're some of the most versatile tools you can have in an emergency. These simple yet powerful supplies can play a crucial role in keeping your home livable during a crisis. Need to seal a drafty window to keep the cold out? Create a makeshift shelter during a storm, repair a broken item, or secure loose objects? Duct tape and plastic sheeting can handle it all. They're the ultimate problem solvers when things go sideways. So why are they often hidden or overlooked? Because people don't immediately associate them with power outages or emergency preparedness. Most shoppers are too busy grabbing the usual suspects like flashlights, batteries, and canned food to think about the practical applications of duct tape and plastic sheeting. And stores don't help matters. These items are often tucked away in the hardware or home improvement sections, far from the emergency supplies aisle. Some retailers may even limit stock or prioritize selling more obvious emergency products like portable chargers or lanterns, leaving you scrambling when you suddenly realize just how useful these tools could be. But don't make the mistake of underestimating these unsung heroes. A few rolls of heavy-duty duct tape and a couple of large sheets of durable plastic can be a game changer. They're inexpensive, easy to store, and endlessly useful. For example, you can use duct tape to temporarily fix a leaking pipe, secure loose wires, or reinforce weak structures during high wind. Plastic sheeting, on the other hand, can be used to seal off a room, to conserve heat, cover broken windows, or create a protective barrier against rain, wind, or even debris. Together, these supplies can help prevent minor issues from turning into major problems during an extended power outage. Imagine the power's out, the wind is howling, and you're huddled in your living room. With duct tape and plastic sheeting, you can seal drafty windows and doors to keep the cold air out and conserve heat. If a leak springs in your roof, you can patch it temporarily until you can get it repaired properly. Or if outdoor conditions become dangerous, you can create a makeshift shelter or barrier to keep your family safe. When you're using duct tape and plastic sheeting to solve problems and maintain some level of comfort during an emergency, you'll wonder why you didn't grab them sooner. They may not be flashy or high-tech, but they're absolutely indispensable. Stock up now. It's a small investment that can make a world of difference when the unexpected happens.